Bitter criticism, different studio. We are in a different studio, but in the same complex, not the military complex. We are fine here, isn't it, Tommy? I'm not sure if you saw Tommy there. This is too high, I guess. I'm not high. I don't smoke too much. I guess it's fine there. Well, there's fine. Just adjusting the camera. New scenario, new spot. So that's it. I guess it's fine. Well, bitter criticism. Different scenario. Someone was on my usual spot. Someone was there, a young guy, and that's it. But we're fine here, all fine. So yeah, bitter criticism. I was listening a podcast, an interview of Michael Hudson. He was talking about his studies of Babylonian debt, and how I don't remember this ruler. I don't remember this guy. Hammurabi, I guess. Hammurabi. Michael Hudson says Hammurabi used to forgive debts. That's it. Forgiving debts. In the ancient Babylonia. The only Babylonia, I guess. I'm not sure if Iraq. Oh, I'm sorry. I talk about Iraq. But the question is, I don't remember if I guess I posted on Instagram, Facebook, this idea I had that maybe I said advocating. So I guess Michael Hudson answered me, and that's a pretty remarkable thing we can do nowadays. I mean, talk with important people like Michael Hudson. Can you believe that? I never believed that could happen. I mean, I did had nice teachers, maybe famous teachers back in Brazil, and they were pretty nice. They were okay. They were good teachers. But by this time, I'm not sure if Michael Hudson is a good person. Definitely he's famous. But what I posted some time ago, it was Michael Hudson is advocating to erase American or U.S. debt with China, which is the principal creditor. Today, Michael, I'm just going to see. I'm going to watch when he made this. I'm going to show you the video. This was from it was 6 hours ago, so it's real time. So we will have a real time discussion, almost real time discussion. I'm going to upload this video, and well, that will be my answer. That will be my answer. But we are not fighting.
And what does the 1% try to do? It's taken over all of the universities in the United States. You're taught how to let the free market, let the rich people do whatever they want to the poor people. And the Romans were very clear about their idea of freedom. To the oligarchy in Rome, freedom was their right to do anything they wanted to their inferiors, to the rest of the population. That's what a free market is.
Anyway, so
Freedom for the
that
criminal.
was 6 hours ago.
Where's the church rent?
6 hours ago. This channel is Robinson Earhart, and he said advocating. So I guess that's why Michael Hudson was answering me. I think it's funny because I target him. The message I could deliver my message to him, and well, I don't hate Michael Hudson. Actually, I have a sympathy for him because of Pepe Escobar. Pepe Escobar like you a lot, Michael Hudson. Pepe Escobar is a pretty good friend of you, and well, I guess better than me, you know. I guess Pepe Escobar like more you than Brazilian people or South American people. What about that? Provocations. So what I put in this whole issue in these terms about friendship, about sides, taking sides in economic disasters. Yeah, you know, many people says, there's a lot of videos on YouTube saying that America may face economic catastrophe. Put in that way, I'm not sure if there's a video with these terms, but Michael Hudson today said that Argentinian people, they cannot pay their debts, or the Argentinian government or the Argentinian state by this time, they cannot pay their debts. Okay, well, that's sad. That's true. That's because of neoliberal presidents as Mauricio Macri and a lot of more, like most of all Menem. I don't remember who is the name. Menem. Who is Menem name? What's Menem first name? Menem. Carlos Menem, ex Argentinian former president. So neoliberalism in Argentina, that's the reason why Argentina didn't accept the BRICS invitation, and because they were so tired about, well, my opinion, Argentinian people, they believe they are superior, understand? They have this racist their racist view on life, you know. They believe they are better because, I'm not sure, because they are kind of white, you know. But yeah, people may denounce this video, but this time Argentinians are worse than white trash. because of neoliberalism, you know. That's the complete issue. Robbery, but it's pretty hard to I'm going to ask ChatGPT, what about Chilean debt? Is there a Chilean debt? I guess Brazil almost paid their debts with some Lula's government. But what I'm talking all this because in politics, in economy, in geopolitics, in life, in the world, you never have real friends, you know. Is there a Chilean debt? Is there a Chilean debt? Type of debt, public debt. Yes, Chile has debt, like most countries. The Chilean government, businesses, and households all have different forms of debt. No, Chile has managed its debt levels relatively prudently, but the exact numbers and trends can vary over time based on economic conditions, government policies, and global financial markets. Yes, Chile has debt, like most countries, the Chilean government, businesses, and households all have different forms of debt. Types of debt, types of Chilean debt. First, public debt. This refers to the debt incurred by Chilean government, typically through the issuance of bonds. As of recent years, Chile's public debt has been relatively low compared to other countries, but it has been increasing. The government borrows to finance public spending, particularly during economic downturns, or to fund infrastructure and social programs. Second, private debt. These include the debt held by Chilean businesses and households. Businesses' debt might involve loans taken out for expansion or operations, while household debt includes mortgages, credit cards, and other forms of personal borrowing. 3. External debt. This is the debt owed to foreign creditors. It includes both public and private sectors. Chile's external debt is composed of loans from international institutions, foreign governments, and private foreign entities. I'm not going to read all debts, but Michael Hudson talked about. I'm not going to read Argentinian debt because it's pretty well known that they are on debt to IMF because of neoliberalism. This is a devastating situation in Argentina, in Argentina. But what was everybody also known, it's not so devastating, but the United States has a pretty huge public debt. Like, is unpayable. I guess because of, maybe. I was listening a cut from Pazuello. This is a Brazilian teacher. I guess he's economist. Yeah, he's an economist. A video of Pazuello and Yuka Kifuri. This video, look.
La cremería de Nestlé.
Well, the Pazuello said that the United States of America, they are on debt because of war.
Eu vou encurtar uma pimenta assim. Os Estados Unidos estavam atrás, a China no quadro, bem no começo.
They were talking about sports.
Agora tá cabeça a cabeça, né? A hora se abre tá a China, a hora tá os Estados Unidos.
So this is Luis Gonzaga. This is Luis Gonzaga Beluso. Luis Gonzaga Beluso and Yuka Kifuri. They were talking about the United States debt. So everybody knows the United States of America is heavily on debt, So my post 13 minutes later, all this introduction is just to situate you about what can happen, This debt, this unpayable debt in the United States, they have to cut war expendings, They have to cut war expendings. I'm sorry, I'm not an American, but everybody understand that, Everybody understand that the U.S. has the United States has spent too much money on war. That's the sad question. For everybody, for everybody, and that's it. So maybe the only way. Just 1 second. There's a situation there with the dogs. Tell me. So yeah, people say me that, oh, call your dogs, call for your dogs. Shut up. Well, the situation is, but these dogs don't obey me, you know. These dogs doesn't obey me. What happened? What happened is, I forgot what I was saying. So the United States had to cut expendings on war. That would be nice, but nevertheless, there will be a huge crisis in the United States. You know, there will be a huge crisis in the United States, and maybe, just maybe, Michael Hudson is. I will repeat what I posted on social media. Maybe, just maybe, Michael Hudson is advocating, is presenting a solution for the U.S. government. You know, forgive debt, make a communist, not a communist. So Michael Hudson cannot say the C word. Nobody in the U.S. can say the C word. Nobody can say communism. Forgive the debt of people, I guess. Yeah, of poor people. And as for yeah, that will be a revolution. That will be revolutionary, because by this time the U.S. it's being the world, the global police, you know. And that's, as Rui Costa Pimenta also said, that's very expensive, pretty expensive. So maybe Michael Hudson is a deep state man. Maybe Pepe Escobar is a deep state man too. Maybe there's a lot of lies. Maybe there's a lot of lies in the world, you know, and people are just. Michael Hudson was asked to make this campaign of forgiveness, of debt forgiveness. Just maybe, you know. And well, that's not a good business for China, you know. I'm not sure what Chinese people will do in the future. Will the bankruptcy of the United States, the United States state. And well, so I'm going to read news now. And that's it. So in this scenario of debt disputes, maybe also there's a side effect too. A side effect that the United States, as everybody says, United States will attack us in South America. You know, maybe I will stay here. I don't really see any option for me. I want to live in Hainan, China. That's my first option. My second option is Australia, but I guess AUKUS ruined that plan. So, war. So yeah, maybe the United States of America will stop talking about debt forgiveness, you know, and that is all to forgive their debts, you know. That's the whole problem. And well, as a side effect, maybe the United States of America, USA, will attack us more heavily in South America, you know. And that's why I'm not sure if I can rely on Michael Hudson. Maybe Michael Hudson is advocating for imperialism, you know. If so, let's think that that's not the case, and Michael Hudson will be on trouble in the United States because of the social war, because of the civil war. There's another option, you know, civil war in the United States because of poverty and stuff. So maybe Michael Hudson should leave the United States, you know, to survive. So in that case, of course, Pepe Escobar loves you. Pepe Escobar likes you very much, and Pepe Escobar will help you to find, or you can retire. You know, you can retire and live, I don't know where, in Mexico. Yeah, definitely Mexico or something like that. Costa Rica, why not Costa Rica? Who knows? Maybe the world will be crazy, you know, will be violent, under violence. I'm just going to read articles now. So, Michael Hudson, I like the way your accent sometimes influenced me, but by this time I will suspect on you because what I said, you know, the United States, they should cut expendings on war in Ukraine, in Taiwan, and they will concentrate on us, you know. So maybe you are not my friend, you know. Maybe you're not my friend, Michael Hudson. That's we have an interesting post here from Pepe Escobar, a funny one. It's about this Turkish guy and the South Korean woman. You know, these guys, these champions of shooting, these shooting champions, pistol shooting champions, air pistols. You know why they put their hands on their oh, I forgot the word. On their wallet, I forgot. On their pants in for instance, because of comfort, you know, where you can put your hand on your, oh, I forgot the word. This, you know, put your hand on your pants, of course. Anyway, so just trying to find articles. Ukraine war day 900, just like that. Impressive. 900, almost 3 years. So we have an article, maybe it's not from Pepe Escobar. This is from Awful Avalanche. Design a site with like this with WordPress. Awful Avalanche. Ukraine War Day 899. The Battle of Kursk Part 2. Ukraine War Day 900. NATO invades Russia. Posted on August 11, 2024 by Yalensis. Dear readers, in its 1,000-year history, Russia has been invaded quite a lot of times. For this reason, Russian rulers, at least the wise ones, always placed much emphasis on fortifying and controlling the border areas. For example, Tsar Ivan Grozny, who put together the basic architecture of the centralized empire, had designated 4 major border cities: Smolensk, Pskov, Novgorod, and Kazan. The first 3 were assigned to keep out Poles and Swedes, and the latter Crimean Tatars, to govern these border towns. The Tsar to govern these border towns. The Tsar appointed 4 dukes of high-ranking nobility, who also served in his privy council. These dukes rotated out every 4 years and were typically paid 700 rubles a year for their service, which was a higher salary than those dukes who governed less endangered towns. It was always understood that it was the job of the governors, soldiers, and ordinary citizens of these border towns, to absorb the first brunt of any foreign invasion. Unlike the dukes and deacons, ordinary people, like peasants and merchants, probably did not receive anything extra in their paychecks, but they were still expected to do their best to cope. Once the inevitable incursion came to ruin their lives, as the current situation develops, it becomes clearer that this actually, the designated NATO land invasion of Russia, which many have predicted over the years. I think even I predicted this, the author. I predicted this, although I thought it was probably going to start in the direction of Kaliningrad. One good thing though, at least we know now, and many mysteries have been cleared up. Remember a couple of weeks ago, inquiring minds were trying to figure out what Budanov has doing mucking around in the Sumy Oblast. What nefarious thing he was planning, or why Zelensky was so insistent on receiving a very specific number of X-16s by a certain date. On that latter note, it seems the F-16s were a bit late to the party, so the Ukrainian stormtroopers had to conduct their classic NATO combined arms attack without air support. This for real. Anyhow, today I have this piece by reporter Alyona Shilina, who confirms that the NATO invasion of Kursk is somewhat more massive than we thought initially. In the first couple of days, the number of 2,000 invading enemies was bandied about, but it turns out that was just the first echelon. I don't know what's that. As for yesterday morning, August 10, the Ukrainian command has amassed more and more troops and equipment along the border near Kharkov, including 450 Polish special forces. The task of these reinforcements is to bolster the Ukrainian troops and help them hold on their foothold in Sucha. And thus, pessimistically, it seems like this is not going to be over soon, and that the grinding positional warfare, which Simplicius warned us about, is going to become the norm in Russia's Kursk region. According to military expert Anatoly Matvichuk, there may be up to 9,000 Ukrainian soldiers in Kursk Oblast, busy entrenching and digging themselves in, so that it will be a real job to extract them, and could take months. The good news is that every Ukrainian soldier mucking about fruitlessly in Sucha is one less Ukrainian soldier manning the defensive lines in Pokrovsk, in Donbass, which is where the real action is taking place. Meanwhile, Russian Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin has signed an authorization to allocate 1.8 billion rubles to assist residents and families of the Kursk Oblast who lost their housing as a result of the invasion. I am not sure that Tsar Ivan or even Boris Godunov would have been so caring about ordinary people. So that is something at least. It's funny. So yeah, so there's comments, I guess. Beluga commented. Anyway, so Russia is doing well, you know. Russia is doing just well. You know, there's a silly comment. I thought that I really don't know nothing about Russian cities. I really don't know them. So another article from Pepe Escobar Telegram, decoupling cation, information and analytical publication, catejon.com, decoupling from China, I guess. So here we go. Catejon.com, decoupling, Alexander Dugin, August 9. In the coming decades, the main and most frequently used concept will undoubtedly be the term decoupling. The English word decoupling literally means disconnection of a pair, and can refer to a wide range of phenomena, from physics to economics. In all cases, it refers to the breaking off the connection between two systems, especially when both depend on each other to a greater or lesser extent. There is no exact equivalent for translating this word into Russian, although unfastening, there's a Cyrillic word. Disengagement, also it's Cyrillic word. And pair disconnection convey the meaning. However, it is preferable to retain the English term decoupling. In a broad sense, at the level of global civilization processes, decoupling means something directly opposite to globalization. The term globalization is also English of Latin origin. Globalization means the unification of all states and cultures according to rulers and algorithms established in the West. To the global means to be like the contemporary West, to accept its cultural values, its economic mechanisms, its technological solutions, its political institutions and protocols, its information systems, its aesthetic standards, and its ethical criteria, and something universal total, the only option and obligatory. In practice, this means the coupling of non-Western societies with the West and with each other, but always in such a way that Western rules and standards serve as the algorithm. Essentially, in such a unipolar globalization, there was a main center, the West, and all others, the West and the rest. As Huntington put it, the rest was supposed to connect to the West. This connection ensured integration into a single planetary global system, into the global empire of postmodernity, postmodernity, with the metropolis located at the center of humanity, that is the West, in the West. Entering globalization, recognizing the legitimacy of supranational institutions such as the WTO, WHO, IMF, World Bank, ICC, ECHR, and up to the world government, a prototype of which is the Trilateral Commission of the Davos Forum, was an act of system binding expressed by the term coupling between the collective West and any other country, culture, or civilization. A pair was formed in which a certain hierarchy, leader-follower, was immediately established. The West played the role of master, the non-West the slave. Along the axis of coupling, the entire system of world politics, economy, information, technology, industry, finance, and resources was formed. The West in this situation was the embodiment of the future, progress, development, evolution, reforms, while everyone else was supposed to connect to the West and follow it according to the logic of catch-up development. In the eyes of the globalists, the world was divided into three zones: the rich north, essentially the West, the US, and the EU, as well as Australia and Japan. The semi-peripheral countries, primarily the fairly developed BRICS countries, and the poor South as all others. China engaged in globalization in the early 1980s under Deng Xiaoping. Russia did so under such less favorable conditions in the early 1990s under Yeltsin. Gorbachev's reforms were also aimed at coupling with the West, a common European home. Later, India actively joined this process, each country coupled with the West, which means integrated into the globalization process. Globalization was and remains a fundamentally Western-centric phenomenon, and given that the US and globalist elites played the main role in it is quite logical to use English terms to describe it. Globalization was carried out through coupling, and from there, everyone involved followed its rules and guidelines at all levels, both global and regional. The processes of globalization gained momentum starting from the late 1980s until they began to falter and stall in the 2000s. The most significant factor in this reversal of the globalization vector was Putin's policy, which initially aimed to integrate Russia into it, joining the WTO, etc., but at the same time insisted on sovereignty, clearly contradicting the main directive of the globalists, moving towards sovereigntization, denationalization, and the prospect of establishing a world government. Thus, Putin quickly distanced himself from the IMF and the World Bank, rightly noting that these institutions use coupling in the interests of the West and often directly against Russia's interests. Simultaneously, China, which derived maximum benefit from globalization by leveraging its involvement in the global economy, financial system, and especially the offshoring of industry relocated by the globalists from Western countries to Southeast Asia, where labor costs were significantly lower, also reached the limits of positive outcomes from this strategy. Moreover, China initially took care to maintain sovereignty in certain areas, rejecting Western-controlled liberal democracy, even in Tiananmen Square, and establishing full national control over the internet and the digital sphere. This became especially evident under Xi Jinping, who openly declared China's course not towards Western-centric globalism, but towards its own model of world politics based on multipolarity. Putin also firmly established the course towards multipolarity, and other semi-peripheral countries, particularly the BRICS nations, increasingly leaned towards this model. Relations between Russia and the West especially deteriorated with the onset of Special Military Operation SMO in Ukraine, after which the West rapidly began cutting ties with Moscow. At the economic level, sanctions, political level, an unprecedented wave of Russophobia, energy level explosions of gas pipelines in the Baltic Sea, technological exchange levels, bans on technology supplies to Russia, sports, a series of contrived disqualifications of Russian athletes, and the ban on participation in the Olympics, and so on. In other words, in response to the special military operation, that is Putin's full declaration of Russia's sovereignty, the West initiated decoupling. So it's not decoupling with China, it's decoupling with Russia. Maybe canceling, yeah. Cancellation of Russia. At this point, the term decoupling acquires its full, profound meaning. It is not just it is not just a severance of ties. It is a new mode of operation for two systems, each of which is now supposed to be completely independent of the other. For the US and the EU, decoupling appears to be a punishment for Russia's misbehavior. That is, its forced detachment from development processes and tools. For Russia, on the contrary, this forced autarky, largely mitigated by maintaining and even developing contacts with non-Western countries, looks like the next decisive step towards restoring full geopolitical sovereignty, significantly undermined and almost completely lost from the late 1980s to the early 1990s. Who exactly initiated the decoupling, that is, the cutting of Russia out of the Western-centric unipolar globalization structure, is now difficult to say definitely. Formally, Russia started the SMO, but covertly the West actively pushed it towards this and provoked it through its Ukrainian proxy tools. In any case, the fact remains, Russia has entered the process of decoupling from the West and its promoted globalism. And this is just the beginning. The inevitable stages are still ahead. First and foremost, we must consistently and fundamentally reject the universality of Western norms in economics, politics, education, technology, culture, art, information, ethics, and so on. Decoupling means not just a deterioration of, or even a severance of relations. It goes much deeper. It involves revisiting the basic civilizational attitudes formed in Russia long before the 20th century, in which the West was taken as a model, and its historical stages of development as an unquestionable template for all other peoples and civilizations, including our country. To some extent, the last 2 centuries of Romanov rule, the Soviet period with a critique of capitalism, and especially the era of liberal reforms from the early 1990s to February 2022, were all Western-centric. For the last few centuries, Russia has been engaged in coupling, not questioning the universality of the Western path of development. Yes, the communists believed that capitalism needed to be overcome, but only after it was built, based on the objective necessity of changing formations. Even the prospects of world revolution were seen by Trotsky and Lenin as a process of coupling, internationalism, a linking with the West, albeit for the purpose of forming a single global proletariat and escalating its struggle. Under Stalin, the Soviet Union essentially became a separate state civilization, but only by deviating from Marxist orthodoxy and relying on its own strengths and the unique creative genius of its people. I guess that's, I'm going to try to finish, but I'm not sure, because this is a huge article. This article is huge for Legend. I don't know. I guess I'm going to do it. No, I guess not. I lost myself. But it was not so far away. But yeah, this article is. I will finish it on apart, you know. I will finish it. So I'll try to finish later. This is a nice article from Alexander Dugin, yeah. So you know what? Making a criticism on what on what I just read. I guess Russia just made this decoupling thing because of the tendency of the world. Understand? So the world, Russia is getting as it comes, you know, as it comes. It's just happening this way. So yeah, we're going home now. So I guess I needed more. I don't know how many minutes. I cannot do my yoga here, but what I can do is show some Daniel Jadue. Yeah, I'm going to show Daniel Jadue before prison. Of course, he is innocent. So Chilean society is pretty enslaved by. Look, this is the channel. We have no options here. Daniel Jadue was the only social democrat option, and he's in prison. This last podcast was 2 months ago. He's in prison just like Lula.
Muchos periodistas desde el 1 de julio. Yo saludo este esfuerzo que ha hecho este gobierno en acuerdo con la CUT para que suba el salario mínimo a 500.000 pesos desde el 1 de julio del 2024, pero les informo que ya es insuficiente, que lamentablemente el salario mínimo de 500.000.
So Daniel Jadue is very hated by the oligarch here. And Chilean people have zero hope in life, you know. Chilean people doesn't have hope. Brazilian people have more hope. So Chile is a worse country than Brazil. We have no debt, but we have no. I'm pretty shocked almost because nobody can see any investment in Chile. People is so depressed, you know.